In this video, I'm going.
Sorry, that was the wrong YouTube. I don't want that YouTube. Sensory motor impact, that is not what I'm looking for. Okay, so we're looking at I'm studying some nervous system stuff. Okay. YouTube. Muzak. Okay. How about... Nope, we don't need the logarithmic nature of the brain. Actually, we might need that later. Shoot. Okay, let's do warm jazz. Be right back. starting. I was doing something. Okay, where's that at? Dismiss. Am I in the right one? Yes. Okay. I think. Wait. Analytics? Yeah, no, I'm not in the right one. Hold on. Schedule. This is the one I'm in. Hello. Welcome in. Good morning. Yeah, you got notified. Okay, dope. Yeah, and if I schedule them in advance, it seems like I'm in a better situation. Sorry for the wait, everyone. Okay. So, if you know the deal, you should get out your tracker and start tracking. I am floss. I am tired and flossing la. Okay, so get out your tracker. Does anybody not have a tracker? I'll be right back. But I'll brush my teeth on camera. How about that? That's weird, right? Okay, that's a little uncomfortable. I don't know. That sounds very strange. But that's because the internet's a bad place. Okay, let's get this going. Get the show on the road. Welcome in. Okay, let me get it for you. Welcome to Autism Peer Support. With me, a chaotic person with autism that can help, hello. So, let me get you one. Boop, 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 boop. Now, you have two options. There's the easy click one, which sometimes can be good to start off with. Let me show you that. This is easy click. So you can just go boop, boop, boop. Now it is set to, I want to say England time. So it may not highlight the right day. A friend made this of my Twitch channel. I moved over here because Twitch is, but I don't know. I can ask them if they can like reset one for America time. And if not that, the original that I made is this guy. This is mine. And I'll drop one for all of it. Now this is Activities of Daily Living, ADL, and Instrumental Activities of Daily Living with a couple additions. This one's my personal edition. Let me grab the one for everyone. Let's see, where are you? We call it DEATHSHAFTBOMB. You know, let me go over here. Boop, 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 boop. Where is... this one. Okay. Go ahead and copy, paste this over to you. I include a task matrix, which is an option. We're developing tools all the time to help with people on the spectrum. Okay, here you go. So go ahead, copy the whole thing over to your drive, and then we'll work through it together. So, once everybody has it open and ready to go, you can just click on the dates, fill in the correct dates. I know that it won't be accurate yet, so you can just click on that, put in the correct date. When everyone has done that, give me like a thumbs up or like an okay in the chat or something, or Just be like, yeah, we did it, Jane. And then we're going to do it together with the explanation. So we're going to get that muscle memory. We're going to press buttons. It's going to be fun. I'm cold already. How am I already cold? I've been awake for like 4 minutes. I'm already like, oh, because the door's open. Girl, your door is open. Okay, okay. Got it? Great. Tanya's got it. Awesome. Shade, more. You guys got it? Merlin, come here, Merlin. Oh, shoot, Merlin's. Get ice. I'm going to take this inside, this inside. Come here, Merlin. Come inside. I have a dog named Merlin. He's great. Chicken. I can bribe him with chicken to come inside. All right, Merlin. You little chicken fiend. That's a favorite food of all. Okay. Now I will. All right, let's start. Make sure there's no issues. I'm going to have to do the tracker later because I'm at work and done. Oh, nope, that's okay. That's all right. That's okay. That works for me. Okay. Attractive lights. Come on. Bam. Okay, and then... All right, let's do this. So, basically, Death Shaft Bombs is a slight addition to something already called Death Shaft, which comes from occupational therapy, and is helping you to keep awareness of how you are working through some of the skills for independent living, as well as some of the more personal goal achievement type stuff, and that's what we added. So Death Shaft has a little bit more specificity than your regular Death Shaft. I'll just go through that. And then Bombs is this individual stuff. So we're gonna do them all one at a time. Have you gotten dressed today? Yes. You get to Control C from the color grab and Control V. I did. Dress C, I have two options here. If you would rather use the dress to signify getting dressed than the t-shirt, because this is useful for expression that you would like to validate or reaffirm, great. The other way you can use dressy is, did you put on any makeup? Did you get especially dressed up? Let's say during the day you have one outfit and then you're going out to an evening event, any evening wear, something more dressy. So you can use dress and dressy. I sometimes use dressy to say I put on a little bit of makeup. I did mess around with my eyebrows. That's why I was so late. I was trying an eyebrow thing. Boink. So I'll give myself a dressy because this takes a little work. Yeah, right? So you can personalize it. You can even within your own usage of it kind of modify for a day that's particularly unusual, where you'd like to signify that there was extra effort. Yo. All right, now eating. Have you eaten yet today? If you eat at all, you're gonna get one. So if eating has already occurred, you've already gotten that block. Ambulate. Do you have any support needs? For me, I don't. So I started to get more specific with this. So if I have a dog, if the dog and I have gone to the park, I typically give this, or if he has something equivalent to that. If you have any walking goals, I would put this here. For me, I'm a dancer, so I put this, am I cringe or am I just a mirror to your internalized shame? Let me zoom in. This is great. I'm just going to zoom really quickly. You just should see this. I just think this is amazing. I just love it. Anywho, in fact, the zoom in is the worst thing ever. Let me zoom a little bit out, but not as much. So if you'd like an additional square, you can add an additional square like I did for exercise, or you can just use this to mean exercise. Since I was a classically trained, like I've had a tiny baby itty bitty ballet career, dance career. So this was something that was important to me and I'm spending more time with. Okay, so I'm actually going to give myself this because I did a little bit this morning. All right, and then this hasn't happened yet. This one you may not have or want. You can use this for all fitness as well. Okay, toilet. If you have any toilet support needs, that would go there. If not, you basically get a free square. If you have showered, this is the soap. I have showered. If you have brushed your teeth, you get this. I generally say if you've done it once a day, you get it. Maybe your goal is to do twice a day. Maybe you're one of those people that brushes after every meal. I don't know who this person is that does that, but I believe that it exists, similar to how I once believed in the tooth fairy. So yeah, but if you're that guy, but for all of these, I would say once you get it, right? Shopping. So that was the first level, death. So this is your basic needs for living as a human. And now let's get into the slightly more intricate skills to execute. So shopping. If you need to purchase anything, this can be market, this can be personal care things, this can be presents, this can be anything that you purchase. You can put that there. If you have done housekeeping, this is shaft. They call it housekeeping. We use this to signify housekeep-a-thon on Saturdays as well. HCAT, which is a play on that. But basically managing your space. I like to call it space management. We have time management. Why don't we call it space management? Then we don't have to have this terrible thing called hoarding disorder. Wow, that was a great idea. It only led to a show that basically is an ableist nightmare. Cool. So yeah, if you do anything housekeeping related, I typically, if you will look back, only do this on Sunday, and that's fine. All right. Accounting. Have you looked at your finances? Are you keeping track of your finances? Have you put a paycheck in? Have you put your hours in? If you have done these things, you get 1 point. And we don't care if you get more than 1 point. We just want to know if you did 1 point. Yay! You put on overalls today, and that for me felt like an active decision to dress the way I wanted to and not just needed to. I feel this completely. Yes. Yes. This can even signify that, if you'd like. That journey to finding your self-expression and living in the clothing that makes you feel most connected and comfortable and happy. I used to like overalls as a kid. They're fun. I haven't found a good pair of overalls since I was a kid, though. I feel like overalls could be improved. There should be an overall revolution or an overall revolution. You know, both of those would work for me. All right, food prep. If you did any preparation, and I put a little happy microwave here because that is the bar, something was heated in any way whatsoever. Doesn't have to be on a stove. So I did heat up my breakfast, so in a microwave. And ta-da! Telecom. We have a little telephone here because this used to be telephone. So have you talked to anybody that you needed to via email, any sort of telecommunication? If you know that this needs to happen today, this one I typically might pop an X down because it usually does need to happen. And just being aware that I would really like to accomplish this today. And if I don't, it doesn't really matter. I just know that I wanted to accomplish it. And if I'm seeing this like many, many days in a row, we will get into what that could mean. All right. So that's your next layer. That's it. Shaft. Boom. Death. Shaft. Okay. Now we added bombs. Have you done anything today that feels like you're becoming your true best self? This is the Velveteen Rabbit that I drew off of an illustration from a teeny tiny book that I had that was based on the original. So I think this is based on the original drawing of the Velveteen Rabbit, which I relate to as an autistic lady person thingy type whatever I am. Yeah. Hi, Kyle. Yes to both revolutions, right? An overall revolution and an overall revolution. All right, so yeah, so have you done something perhaps coming here, trying this out? That could be working towards your it's kind of like, think about this as mentally time travel forward in your life and roll credits, right? Right before roll credits, the end of your movie. If you feel like your life right now, some part of today is part of that movie, give yourself a point. All right, have you done something for other people? So this one is others. This typically would mean something for a person where there isn't really an interpersonal aspect to this particular gift. Like there isn't maintaining the relationship, it's just a gift. Like it's not a interpersonal relationship skill, it's just, here's a nice thing for other people, right? I don't know about today. I did do one yesterday, so I'm going to give myself that. I'd like to do that today, so I'm going to give myself a boop. I'd certainly like to find an opportunity to do something nice for somebody. Just doing a nice thing. Could be for a group of people, could be for the world in general. Just something nice. Just being a neighbor. This beautiful little guy right here is for medical needs. He's a cozy little pill. Look at how comfy and cozy he is. This is one of my favorite little mascots of our channel. Look at him, or her, or them, or who cares? It's a pill. It's an inanimate object that I gave a face. So this inanimate object would be anything related to medical care. So if you have daily things that you're supposed to be maintaining ingestion of or application of or use of, that would be here. If you have like scoliosis and you have exercises you're supposed to do for it and a postural brace, you'd put that there too. Anything you're doing, if you're recovering from surgery and you have specific recovery instructions and you're following them, great. Looks like a Tylenol in a tiny sleeping bag. Right, exactly. He's at camp gel cap Solana, Capsawana. Camp Gel Capsawana, where all the little pills go and play capture the flag, and they take a nap, and they roast marshmallows. Okay, so I did that today, surprisingly, given how I am. But yeah, I already took mine. And then we have sleep. So this is part of medical needs. It's a subgroup of medical needs because we have BOM and medical needs. So that's both medical needs. Did your sleep go okay? If you have apnea, anything that you need to adjust around sleep, please use this space to note that that's being applied as needed. Now, this is belonging. This is your relationship skills. So this one is more just gift giving of the I like humanity in general sort of variety. This is I have people I know. They know me too. I'm doing things that are nice for them and they're doing things that are nice for me, including working our ways through difficult feelings, because that's a really cool thing to do as a relationship skill. So if you've been working on that, and also if you feel that you have a general sense of belonging, like you show up in a space and you're like, oh wow, mirror neurons, they're happy because you're hanging out with people who have things in common with you that you feel close to. Ta-da! You can put that there. I basically get a belonging every time I stream because I feel it every time I stream. How's it going to make s'mores without any arms? Psychic powers. You didn't think that it had psychic powers, did you? It's a summer camp for gifted pills. Kind of like Xavier's Institute for gifted youngsters. Pillsters? Okay. Last two. So we added one for like soothing, stimming, sort of more universal self-care vibes. So if you've done something that's relaxing, a lot of the sensory breaks that you might want to take could fit in here as well. So maybe if you have ear defenders and you're taking some time with your ear defenders, if you have a weighted blanket, if you have anything that blocks light that helps you, could be glasses that block light spectrums. It could be a full-on sleep mask. You could do what I call cocooning, where you put on the ear defenders, the sleep mask, and a weighted blanket and just lie there. So anything where you're giving yourself a well-deserved sensory break, or something that is soothing for you, particularly something that helps you to feel the calm, happy chemicals. I would even say if you have a partner and you're having some special time together, you could honestly put that there. Anything that gives you the happy chemicals that calm you down. So yeah. And finally, as a bonus, which by the way, we're going to end up with one more row of this where there's the positive of this direction. This is the brain stabbies. Brain stabbies is when your brain is getting stuck and the ability to do is impeded by this odd feeling of just non-localized pain that seems to be coming from your brain, screaming that life is awful and this cannot continue. So if you ever get that, certain things might trigger it. For example, the reason why we have Housekeepathon on Sundays is because trying to do space management causes major brain stabbies. Should you have a brain stabby, which I kind of do today, I've been doing pretty well, but today's kind of brain stabby, you just grab Mr. Stabby Brain and you just pop him over there. Having a bunch of brain stabbies in a row usually means there needs to be a little bit more of this mother effer happening. Probably everything in this row could be looked at and messed with. And also, I'm developing another tool currently for people on the spectrum who have issues with executive functioning. I think we have a very specific pattern of executive functioning impairments that has to do with non-declarative memory impairment. So I am working on that, and that's when we'll probably get one more row where we'll have the antithesis to Mr. Brain Stabby. Now notice that Mr. Stabby Brain, for the Brain Stabbies, sorry, is going to the left. Do you see that? Let's review affect. So affect, boink, is a way of interpreting your mood. So this is basically a sciencey way of doing this. Let me pull this down a little bit. This is kind of ridiculous. Hold on. I'm gonna drag you underneath my little cartoon people because I feel like that's a bit much. Layout, okay. Maybe, hold on. Maybe here? Nope, we're still not there. Hold on, I want him underneath my Mr. Rogers sticker. I really like Mr. Rogers also. There we go. Okay. Oh, actually now I can't see positive valence. Sorry, Mr. Rogers. Okay, so this will be our cursor, and let me make this just a smidge smaller. Just a little bit. I'm gonna have to drag you up here to be able to do that, aren't I? Hold on. I'm having some problems. Some problems I'm having. I have too many assets stacked in a row. What am I doing? Why can't I select the one that I want? Okay, so let me try selecting this one. Group, no. Transform. You know what? I have an idea. I'm gonna drag this to the top of the screen. This is fun. You can listen to me make a bad song. That will make this not so bad, even though I don't know how to fix this. Okay, here we go. No, is that it? That's not it. I don't want to select that. Why can't I select this one? I have too many assets. I keep clicking through them. You want to see how ridiculous this looks? I have too many assets. Why so many assets? Oh my god. What have I done? What's that? That's a hat. That's a little tiny hat. Okay. Believe me, I know everything about this thing that I'm doing. I guess this is what it looks like. Oh well, la 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 la. Pulling this back over here. Sorry. Okay, so that didn't work and we're fine with it. So let me just drag everything back to where it was, because I was wrong. I didn't do that right. You know what's funny? I thought to myself, hey Jane, let's work on making this whole intro smoother. We have a new person here. If I make it nice and smooth, then, you know, they'll want to stay. So just make sure you do a good job, Jane. All right. So Brain Stabbies was pointing to the left, correct? Now, this here is our cursor, which I also can't seem to grab. God damn it. How did I do this last time? Okay, so here's our cursor, which is Skeeter from Muppet Babies. Now, Skeeter is facing to the right. Valence means the things that you're going towards, and if you're a Brain Stabby land, going away. So you can think run away because it's bad, or go towards because it's good. So valence is an aspect of mood that's always present. So is arousal. Arousal translates mostly to your metabolism, like are you falling asleep, are you running out of energy, or are you recruiting energy? So your brain and your body are doing this more outside of your conscious control than even the valence. So this may be also impacted by drinking caffeine, all this stuff. Could be impacted by situations. Now we're getting into the extremes of things that eventually become emotions. So this quadrant and this quadrant are the ones where we're running away from something, where there's basically a problem that we don't have a solution to yet, and we may not be able to get a solution to, by the way. Good to note that. So there is a problem is kind of this region, left over, right? There is a solution. Basically, I've solved the problem is from the right over, and you're going to move towards that solution. You can also think of this as a goal. Now, that doesn't mean that you personally solved it. It could mean that you know who can solve it, or you're positive there is a solution if you keep on the trajectory of forward. So any of that basically means like the problem does have a solution and you are connected to it and can move towards it, even if it's another person who will help you, even if it's something simple. Okay, so this is this feeling of like, I'm going towards an object, an idea, something because it solves problems and I'm positive about that, right? I feel more certain, more sure. This is uncertain, 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 and even potentially losing all hope. Now, if we went to super, super, super far extremes, what do I think those are? This is my personal summary. You can take issues with my summary, but I don't think I'm wrong. This can get labeled as bipolar if you keep bouncing from the extreme depression to extreme mania. So up here is mania, down here is like super major depressive side of mania. So this I would call the bipolar spectrum continuum. And this is kind of, we all do some of this. So don't worry about that labeling. It's just, if you want to understand what I think is happening to the brain where we can have something like bipolar, I think this is an extreme expression of it. Now, this guy would be, if it gets really extreme, an extreme expression of schizophrenic spectrum disorders. So down here is sleeping, but also hallucinating. Pleasant hallucinations, euphoria, mushrooms, really great orgasms are kind of around here too. But basically, like, if you have something that is super relaxing and also dreamlike, your dreams are kind of in here too, you can get that. So some of the hallucinatory properties are down here along with the relaxation and soothing. So if you have a safe hallucination, you're down here. If you have a scary, here we get into paranoia. Hooray! Psychosis. Paranoia is somewhere up here where you're starting to get into a massive fear response and danger, anger, scream, what do, oh no. So in general, this is going to be threats. This is going to be safety and relief, as well as huge rewards. Pain, fear, threats are pain that has not yet been realized. So fear is pain that has not yet been realized. It all is working from the same schema and functional anatomy of your brain. Versus this actually blocks it. So you get both the pain, fear being blocked, and you get other hormones as well. And neurochemistry helping you to feel good. But a lot of the good feeling is just blocking the pain symptoms that you are used to having, or fear symptoms. Okay, so that's basically what's going on. Now, I like to ask people, mushrooms all over the place in the high arousal. Yeah, if you'll basically bounce back and forth. If you're going to extremes, you're going to have some amount of ding, 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 and ding, ding, ding. And it's possible for somebody to have conditions where they just hang out in the perimeter. They're way out here. And that's where we talk about a mood disorder, right? Because this is mood, affect is mood. Okay, so, and mood disorders, in my opinion, may have way more in common with neurodivergent conditions than we realize, and also like traumatic brain injuries than we realize, although that's also not an outrageous thing to say because that's coming full circle when it comes to a lot of the literature and conferences that I've looked at. So you can think of this, can we get this on a t-shirt, the whole thing with the quadrant? Yeah, you bet we can. Of course we can. So it's a little oversimplified, but also in a way that I find very useful. And if we're going to oversimplify, this is a closer model than previous models that you may have been exposed to. So our culture kind of goofed on this one in terms of giving people a useful shorthand. Use affect. Now there's one more quadrant that's important to remember, but it's going to be a vector going this way. Well, there's actually a whole bunch more quadrants. There's one more vector that goes this way that would create additional quadrants, and that is sensory amplitude, which is different in people with spectrum conditions and other neurological differences. So you can imagine that, like, for us, it's also just going to be more complicated to navigate mood, affect, and then the emotions that come after that, because we have different sensory amplitude, which is how we process sensory information and what happens to it in our body. So, yeah. Depression is a physical brain imbalance, whether trauma or born ND. Yep. Yes, it is. Well, and it's a metabolic problem. So also depression is so remember anything down here, we're getting into metabolic concerns. Also up here, potentially. But if you're all the way down here, you probably just simply do not have enough energy for one reason or another. So we should look into that. We're starting to understand depression as a metabolic condition, a metabolic disorder. It's all in your head. Yes, my brain is an organ. Exactly. Precisely. Yes. So the neuroscience, neuropsychology has been undergoing a lot of really wonderful, revolutionary advancements in how we model the brain and discarding older models that are still pretty active in the culture around us. So I'm going to encourage you, and I can give resources of people that I think are great that are in the field of neuroscience that you can geek out on. My biggest favorite is Lisa Feldman Barrett, and that quote at the top of your screen, the best thing for your nervous system is another human, and the worst thing for your nervous system is another human, is from Lisa Feldman Barrett. I'm basically the unofficial, quasi-official president of her fan club at this point. So, yes. Yeah, there's some really scary stuff still out there, and it usually leads to some really messed up online groups. All right. So that's your crash course in affect and such and so forth. Thank you, Skeeter. So that's basically what we're doing. Actually, before we go on, hang on. Here's what I would like to ask. Instead of how are you doing, are you to the left or to the right of that vertical line in the center? Your arousal is probably on the higher side if it's earlier in the day. Maybe you're a little bit sleepy, but you probably have some energy if you just slept. Versus, relative to yourself, right? Yeah, and Shade, if you're permanently depressed and often bored, so if you're usually on this side, so I would consider where you would like to go. So let's say we're on this side. Now Skeeter is a positive little lady, so she wants to go to the right. Further right than normal. Phenomenal. For you, I would be a little bit conscious if you can go calm first and then up. Or, here's a thought, can you even go from here, explore if there's anything up here, and then go here? Now, how would we do that? Okay, let's say we have no energy, right? Now we ask, is there something that I'm afraid of? Is there a threat? Is there, or more simply, is there a problem that I feel hopeless about? Define the problem. Then say, is there anything I can do whatsoever to change this problem or work towards a solution? Whatsoever. Literally anything. If the answer is no, weirdly enough, it's probably not your problem. And it doesn't even matter if everyone in society, if your mom thinks it's your problem, it's probably just not your problem. If you can't solve it, it's not your problem. If nobody you know can solve it, if there's no realistic way for you to get to a solution whatsoever, that may not be your problem. And if that's true, go do something fun. You just drop that shit. That baggage is not yours. And go do something fun and then go take a nap. So this is a suggestion of one way to get a little bit over here if sliding over isn't working. Okay, and Tanya is a little to the right, a little to the bottom. Heck yeah. So we're like, okay, excellent. And if you're feeling calm and relaxed, I typically would say keep soothing, keep getting more comfy. Comfy overalls was something I heard. More nice, happy sensory feelings. And then, if you can, do something fun today. And then relax again. So what we're trying to do is do a little bit more la, 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 la 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 la. And then you have to solve problems and make sure you can solve them and sleep and up and do. Sometimes what happens with autism is we don't get to do this and we end up just here and then here and then here and then here. And then so yeah, so thinking about a nice place to go. Also keeping in mind your level of general alertness. If you're like, now that I really think about it, I'm pretty alert. Go do something fun. Go play. Somebody taught us not to play anymore because that person wanted us to be a little slug in a factory that made widgets all day. Well, we got the wrong brain for that, for one. For two, that whole system's going to implode because the AI is going to take us to a better place if we cooperate. If not, I don't freaking know what's going to happen. But at least I know that all those wadget careers are going to poop anyway. Let's make little workshops in our homes. Let's make do you know we used to work at home? Like all the people used to have little workshops. That's why my last name is what it is. Apparently I'm related, I'm not going to tell you exactly my last, well, I could, it doesn't really matter because I'm completely doxxed because I'm a musician. But yeah, apparently I come from people who made shoes at one point, and it's in a different language, but yes, apparently. Also, my first word was shoe, which I realized the other day, and I pointed to it because hyperlexia, because I knew what it was, and I saw a lot of shoes. And then I became a ballet dancer, and then I have a really large shoe collection, so that's all very fascinating. Anyways, caption that the chart on a shirt, how is your inner Muppet feeling today? Yes! How is your inner Muppet feeling today? That's so good! I'm gonna copy that. Wait, I'm gonna just what? No way. Okay, I'm gonna screen cap that whole thing so I remember what this is about. Oh my god. Maybe that can be not only this, but my show merch and stuff for music and stuff. What? I need to make merch. Wow. Yes. Inner Muppet merch shirt. Any preference on color? Because the chart could be a big white, the chart could be a square, right? And then a blue shirt. Okay. Black shirts, black and blue. I can get multiple colors. I can get 2 colors. I can do a black and a blue. Cool. And then you can just point on your shirt. Okay. Now also feeling a little anxious and getting curious about why. Yes, and if you're feeling anxious, let's go back here. So anxious means there is a problem. Yeah, black shirt and make the chart white. Yeah, I'll make this chart white and then blue will be one of the secondary colors. I'm happy with that. Black and blue. Light blue? What kind of blue? There's so many blues. Greenish blue? Dark blue? Royal? All right. So if you're feeling a little bit anxious, here's a time to just think about, is there a problem? And it can be very vaguely stated. It doesn't matter. If I think about it, I have a little bit of anxiety because my problem is I'm afraid that, well, first of all, my money is a little bit short because I don't have Friday stuff to do, but I can make up the hours doing some research and stuff today that's relevant to my job, so that's kind of cool. But we had something that got canceled on Fridays, and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of in a weird in-between place. I wasn't really ready for that, so that's not great. And I have to take my dog to the vet today and get a Lyft or Uber rather, and I'm like, oh man. So I'm always anxious about being underemployed, but that's why I'm doing Autism Peer Support. So if I think about it, it's yeah, I'm anxious about it, but I am working towards a solution. Like literally right now, and even just cobalt. Oh yeah, we can do cobalt. Let me just grab that. Hold on. I am working towards a solution right now. And let's now talk about what I think is the way to approach problem solving as an autistic person. Particularly if you're supposed to be the type of person that has less impairments due to being, you know, more cognitively high performing in various tasks. And it's like, well, then how come I can't do things? All right. I do not have a chart or graph for this, but I will eventually. So I thought better of this, and I'm going to show you this in my notebook. Hold on. All right, now we're going to start getting into my brand new theory / hypothesis / method for learning and doing for autistics. If I knew where my notebook was. I still don't. What? Huh? Where? Huh? Oh. We get to go to camera B now. It's exciting. It makes me feel a little bit more professional when I have multiple cameras that I can show you things on, even though you're about to see a really messy desk. Actually, let me put this here so it looks more delightful. Okay, let me put that here. Oh man, the professionalism, it just gets me really excited. Okay, so first of all, let's put this away. All right, and now let's grab this. I mean, what? Where are you? Okay, that's not it. Bro. Oh, sorry. Ta-da. Okay. Hi, Bob. I guess, hi, Bob. So this looks great. Bookends! We don't do sequential order. Which means, why is this not focusing? Hold on. Oh, because it's cheap. That's why. Okay, which means beginning, middle, disability, ending. If you don't have this, what happens is you go into something called non-declarative memory here. This is declarative memory. This, I think, is intact for us because this is observations of facts. I observe facts. Facts. Learning, i.e. book. So this is a state of learning, right? And books is where we can find many facts, also articles, also podcasts. So this is what we should do. We should learn about the thing, learn about the world, learn about the system, learn about abstract ways of seeing logical problems that exist. And then we form a hypothesis immediately. And this is episodic future thinking. So this is declarative semantic memory. This is declarative episodic memory. Episodic memory also is future thinking. So it's like mental time travel. So you know what I'm saying? Like put the movie on of your life and right before roll credits, the best version of your life movie. That's this goal. So we have the ends. We have the book and the ends, or book and end, book ends, however you want to say it. I've said it both ways, but I might end up calling it book end, but book ends, yeah. So you're focusing on the ends, could be multiple, but you're going to bookend your stuff, basically. So this is a hypothesis. This is an observation. So explanation, observation, and what we're going to do is investigate and test this, and if it's not working, we go back to research. investigate, test, research, investigate, test, research. So this is how we should work as autistic people. Now, this won't make a lot of sense to some people that can do the sequential stuff. When then they're like, now I do this, and now I do this because I just did that, and now I do this next thing because I just did this, and then their mind keeps track of that. If you don't have that, screw that. You're not going to do that. So we're just going to go boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Do you think ADHD people struggle with this? Yes, I do. I think it's a little bit different for ADHD. It could be like one of the things that gets in the way is different. You may not have a great time doing this part, and this could be stronger. So you may still be pretty good at thinking about daydreaming, shall we say, what your goals are. So I would still apply this as one way to think about your goals. You may have a harder time doing the research part of it. So this might be important to do body doubling here, like the part where you're learning, and then this part is where you're daydreaming. So I would say for somebody with ADHD, ADD, your daydreaming is not bad. It's just that you may need some help doing some of the practical building up of your daydream. So you may need help with the world building things that help the daydream to be more realistic. So that's my current thinking. So your creativity is probably off the charts, but you may have a hard time with getting your real world practical knowledge accumulated. So body doubling is super, 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 super helpful during anything where you're dealing with facts, which is, well, semantic information, which is like specific spatial and temporal information about the world. So, yes. Okay. So these are going to eventually turn into skills if you just do them over and over. But for somebody who has the procedural memory, where the disability is, they can basically like more directly work on skills and tasks, because that's what their brain is keeping track of, is their progress in a task or towards a skill. We can't keep track of that, so we're just going to focus on the goal and then getting stuff that makes the goal clearer, and that's it. And we will end up doing the actions by virtue of this process. It won't look like it to a typically developing person, but it actually works. So what we now have to do is resist the typically developing person interrupting us, telling us that we need to plan, interrupting us, telling us that we need to write down steps, interrupting us, telling us that it's really a good idea to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, stop doing that. Stop doing that. Pisces moon daydreaming. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, but daydreaming is a useful thing. We just don't think of it as useful, even though it is a type of organizing all of the information that you currently have into a predictive model that helps you to pursue goals, right? So for an autistic person, I would like to say, or I would suggest anybody with this general pattern of impairment, could be somebody who's not autistic, but I see this very much in people with my expression of autism, and many autistics I've met, could be all of us. What I see here is this need for us to have kind of a narrative goal, something that feels like we've constructed a really interesting outcome that we believe is possible by looking at the facts. So we're creating this more systemic way of thinking about goals, not this like step-by-step way. And that by doing this, we may make a couple people uncomfortable because it looks very weird, but we don't have access to the other thing. The other thing I would call the pathway to doing the type B. So there's like at least 2 pathways to doing. We have the type A pathway, and a typically developing person can switch, I believe, fluidly between this like B type and A type. And we're just stuck with A. Yeah, Shade's friends with my partner through an astrology Discord, and they both know a crap ton about astrology. Okay, so yeah. So the big thing for us, so I think for somebody who can do a lot of this stuff, which by the way is, if you want to keep going deeper into it, it's visual spatial working memory, or spatial working memory, perhaps more specifically in some instances. So you're aware of where am I? Where am I in the sequence? Where am I in sequential order of things I'm supposed to be doing? Where am I in the world? Okay. Where am I in relation to my goals? We don't do this, which sucks kind of, but it's not the end of the world. What we ask is, what does that mean? What's that mean? It means this is possible. What does that mean? It means this is possible. What does that mean? It means this is possible. And we refine this is possible, this is possible, this is possible, into this abstract model of the universe that we live in. And then we can have a certainty and not uncertainty. Because if this is busted, which I believe it is, this stuff in the middle that we can't do, right? The sequential learning stuff. And if this implicit sequence learning is impaired, procedural memory is abnormal, that means that we're going to have to rely on what does that mean, what does that mean, what does that mean, to reduce the uncertainty enough that our affect can get to a place where we can learn and do. So why is this a theory of learning and doing? Come back here, Skeeter. Hi, Skeeter. Wait, let me just have her slide around. Yeah. Okay, so boom, because one more way to think about this, everything up here, this is you being ready to learn. So your metabolism is getting past a certain point so you can learn, because there has been some form of prediction error. So you made a prediction and it was wrong. If you made a prediction, it was wrong, and you are still secure, there's not too much uncertainty about what's going on, now we can play. Now we can just play and learn. So this is book up here. Ends is here. So we're trying to spend a lot more time doing this. Now, if you have a lot of uncertainty, now we need to get you over here. So again, if you're feeling uncertain with autism, I think we have just a lot more uncertainty because we do not know where we are in a sequence or possibly even in a room. We're spatially impaired in that sense. Like spatial awareness is not normal. We need to know what is this as much as possible so that where am I is not that big of a deal. It's because we know a lot about our environment. So it sort of doesn't matter where we are too much because we can adjust more rapidly to the things that occur because we know the environment so well, even if we're not totally sure where we are. So we're going to reduce uncertainty about our precarious position of not knowing where we are because of an impairment. We're going to learn about things that would help us in relationship to not only our problem, but thinking about mentally traveling to the thing right before the credits roll. Go here for a minute. We're going to see what we need, go back up here, learn that. So we're trying to stay a little bit more here. Now, granted, everybody goes like this, but for us, we've gotten like this because we've been trying to use a part of our brain that's impaired. So we're going to know that this is where learning happens. So if you feel anxious, you are primed to learn. Now let's go over to book. Let's start to study and learn. Now, again, if you realize the thing that you are wanting to learn about is impossible for you to learn about, it's ready to learn. Yep, it absolutely is. 100% is. You had a prediction error. Your brain's like, I better learn something. If you have so much uncertainty that you can't figure out what you need to learn, let's narrow that down by asking some questions. If it turns out the thing that your brain is trying to get you to learn is impossible for you to learn, absolutely impossible, then okay, what's the next best thing that I can learn instead? And it might even be like letting go of impossible problems. But who knows? Like, so we want to get you into book. And let's learn something. And it doesn't have to be what you originally thought you had to learn. because it might turn out that that's just information from your culture that is wrong. They think you need to learn something specific that you can't learn and they haven't learned, right? You might even turn out to want to learn what the heck is wrong with my culture. And then we chill out. And then maybe do something fun. Just play a special interest game and then relax. You want to try and fix it? Okay. Do you want to, we can troubleshoot it a little bit. I'm happy to do that if you feel comfortable sharing a little bit more details. Because what we could try to fix, what we could try to learn more about is even like that want to try and fix it. Maybe that's what you need to learn about. And then okay. Right. And so if this is learning, by the way, this is like learning. If you get stuck down here, if you're getting trapped down here, basically you don't have enough energy to learn and you don't think you can. So it's a problem. This is a no energy to solve the problem that can't be solved, and this is hopelessness. This is no energy to solve the problem that can be solved, and I'll get to it tomorrow. Or, I just need a little break and I'm not worried about my break, right? So you also can work on making sure that this doesn't go into like, am I not allowed to take a break? No. You're fine. Learn about breaks. Break. Okay, let's see. Basically when I was talking to my mom and telling her about... Oh, interesting. Okay. And telling her about joining this live chat, I got anxious about what she'd assume an Autism Peer Support live stream would be. That's fair. Also, good job talking to your mom about it, though, and trying to tell her and include her in it. I can understand how important that can feel from talking to my own parents. I tried to word it in a way that part of my brain predicted she'd be chill with. Yep. And I think I botched it. Sounded weird or anxious about it. I see. Okay. Interesting. That's very relatable. Let me think, how would I approach that? Okay. My first inclination is to share that with your mom and say, hey, it was really important to me that I worded this well, and I was afraid that I didn't, and I botched it, and it sounded weird. Because reasons. And that could be helpful. You can even say that, like, I'm telling you this because I care about our relationship. Which can be difficult for people on the spectrum to navigate. So my parents are probably both spectrum, but don't have a diagnosis, but it's just, they probably are. So sometimes those conversations can also be impeded by if you have the same neurotype or even if you have different neurotypes. So being able to say that, like, this means a lot to me, especially if working on autism as an adult is a new process for you for any reason. You can say, hey, I want this process to be something that you're aware of, that I'm working on, but I'm still feeling shaky about it, and I'm scared of rejection from you about how I'm doing this. Or I'm afraid of something, right? So maybe getting into, like, is there a fear or a threat that you're trying to make sure doesn't happen because you feel vulnerable to begin with around figuring out autism, which is completely understandable. Those of us who have this, like, quote unquote higher functioning thing have been told a lot of our lives that, especially if you happen to be a girl, there's a lot of, or girl or woman, there's a lot of issues around that. We've been told that basically whatever we're doing is adequate for society. Therefore, we should be fine. And when we're not fine, we're neurotic. Yeah, because part of me is worried about botching that. Right. And that's, so the meta thing that we're looking at here that I'm hearing so far, and I could be wrong, is that you are scared that you can't learn how to stop botching it. So what could we consider booking? Potentially what I'm hearing, let's try this. Let's see if we've looked at this sort of a thing before. First of all, let me put this away and this way. I'm definitely gonna be using this more, so I will make it like better looking. What was that? Okay, I don't know. Okay. Okay. All right. So what if we looked up talking to your parents. Let's see what this WikiHow says. I've never looked this up before. So I just looked up like how to talk to your parents about being autistic or about your autism. Choose a calm, quiet time to talk. You'll want a time when no one is especially stressed or distracted. Try a time like doing simple chores together, a long car ride, or cleaning up after dinner. If your parents are moving quickly, being louder than usual, or being short with you, that means they are probably stressed and not ready to listen. Avoid times of stress like when someone is sick, a big family transition, e.g. right before a vacation, or holidays with relatives over. Your parents may not be as focused and have a hard time listening well. Use process talk to explain that you have something important to say. You can say something like, I have something big to tell you. I'm wondering if now is a good time. And this is if you're revealing it. So what is process talk? I don't even know what that is. So now we can learn about process talk. So this is if you're thinking you're autistic. Yeah. Focus on the benefits. Here, let's do here. Use tentative, well, I'm just going to read all of this. This is more like telling them about being autistic. Oh, the fact that you're even bringing up would come off across as insecure. Did you end up with that as part of like how your family perceived you? That you're insecure? Because I've gotten that myself. I think that might be even further evidence of like just how typical you are for an autistic person. I haven't shown you all this. This is something that I made as a fidget. It says, I am not a duck. It's about not being a duck. I guess you'd have to, can you even read that? I guess not really, right? Because it's going to be backwards. Or is it not backward? Yeah, it's backwards for you. That's okay. I am not a duck. So I am very normal as a not duck. I thought that I was a duck that got all messed up. But I am not a duck. And it turns out the things that happened to me make a ton of sense. I put a little swan on the end. So cute. So basically, like, you're just not a duck. So if you realize that you're not a duck and you talk to other not ducks, you'll be like, oh shit, we're really similar. Nothing went wrong. We're just not ducks. Let's see. One of the things that looked interesting is focus on the benefits of looking into it, which using a peer support could be one of those. Describe how a diagnosis and the subsequent support. That's us! Peer support! Okay, describe how a diagnosis, so now we're at the subsequent support step, could help you. Your parents want what's best for you, so focus on how seeing a specialist or a peer support group could improve your life. Here are some examples of the benefits of a diagnosis, and I'm going to also imply a peer support group. You could learn diagnosis-specific techniques for reducing stress in your life, making you more comfortable and calm. And that's a big part of what we're doing. So now, I can adjust this to say what the peer support group is and our goals. So here we're working on peer-developed support techniques as well. I have some that I'm working on actively, and we can use this space to troubleshoot as well as do a little bit of like hypothesis testing of some of our ideas together and sharing them and refining them. So, and the goal is definitely for us to be more comfortable and calm, more able to do the things that we care about, and more able to set expectations for ourselves that work because we have a better understanding of which techniques are helping us. Okay, you could do better in school due to getting accommodations, which could improve your grades, enhance your understanding of material, and or reduce stress. This also applies for work settings. We also, in this peer support group, can share about what's working with work and how we're going about either using specific resources or general practices. You could get therapy focused on your specific challenges, e.g. sensory integration therapy. That's kind of cool. We can obviously talk about those things here. We haven't done as much about that, but I'd be curious. And you and your parents would have access to supportive community of autistics and their loved ones. Hi. So that's what it is. Yeah. Let's see. So this is just one of many things we could look into. I hate this dress. It's popped up in my feed before. So yeah, you could look into some of these resources. You could phrase a different question. Yeah, just like talking to parents. This one is more about sharing about a diagnosis. Association for Science and Autism Treatment, discussing concerns with family members. Yeah. So there's a lot of things about conversations that we could have with people about being on the spectrum and furthermore resources. So this could be something to book. Makes sense. Also, hi Cortessa. Welcome in everybody that I haven't had a chance to say hi to. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming and checking out my stream. So yeah, so I would say the strategy I'm suggesting is definitely that we identify some of it and then immediately think about what we can learn. And then after you've learned it, like maybe do something a little bit fun if you still have energy, and then take a little break. A nice, calm, relaxing break. And also, I just want to encourage people that this bookends thing, this like sort of abstract way of looking at our problems, is something that everybody uses for the most part. There's a couple people where this would be impaired, but in general, typically developing people use this as well. They may just have other ways of thinking that they can also use that we can't so much, but they will relate to us when we think this way. They may want to go back to what they prefer, which may be more of this like way of thinking that I'm just going to for now say is just not able to do that for us. But if we keep going back to our book Relax, and people realize we're not overthinking it, that this is important for us to do, then we can also start to get into a place where some of the anxiety about how we do things is dissipating. Uh-oh, did you say the overthinking word? And if there's one thing my brain loves getting anxious and overthinking about, it's the fact that I'm getting in my head about something. Yeah, okay, that's so funny. I wasn't even reading that yet. So, haha, I know what you're talking about. So we are not overthinking. We are thinking the only way available to our brains because of an impairment that leads to doing. We are using the way of thinking that leads to doing. Somebody who doesn't have our impairment only does that type of stuff in a higher amount when they're overthinking. And what they mean by overthinking is you should go back to doing procedural type stuff. Like basically you should go back to doing just focus on step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. That's what they're saying. And if you have impaired serial memory, serial learning, how do you do that? There's nothing for you to go back to. You've never been there, right? And your brain probably just isn't physically able to do that. That's my working hypothesis, That's what they mean by overthinking. They're saying you're in your declarative memory too much. You're doing too much episodic future thinking or episodic thinking. They're saying like you're too stuck in the past, or you're stuck in the present, or whatever. Their idea of being in the present moment is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's a part of the brain that warms up and gets more active when somebody's able to use serial working memory like that. And it's very satisfying. So this will actually make them happy to be going through do. Overthinking doesn't feel good for them as much as this feels good. Overthinking. So, and they're not as good at using this declarative memory loop that I'm saying we can use, which is episodic, semantic, episodic, semantic. Books, book ends, book ends. So for them, I believe them that they think we would feel better if we stopped overthinking and started doing just 1, 2, 3, 4, but we can't. So we can't feel better doing that. In fact, if we try to go over to the procedural stuff, I think what ends up happening is there's something that's causing pain. So when we try to do it, it goes wrong. It increases uncertainty. We don't know where we are. They do. They're like, where am I? Where am I? Where am I? And we're like, I don't know. I still don't know. Oh my God, I don't know more. Oh my God, I don't know. So they're making it worse. So when they tell us to stop overthinking, they're telling us to try to do something that will make us extremely afraid. That makes them feel better. So you have never, this is going to sound weird, you have never overthought. If you had a brain that could do this middle stuff, sure, maybe that makes sense as a metaphor. It's not even accurate in their case, I don't think. But for us, it's just wrong. It just doesn't work. It's just inappropriate for us. So what you should actually do is learn about something that you feel is actually going to get you to the ends. So I want you to time travel forward to the beautiful scene at the end of your best life movie, right before the credits roll. Spend some time there. Look at the problem that you currently have. Eliminate parts of the problem that are not yours to solve because it's impossible. And then look at the parts that you believe would lead to that amazing ending. Roll credits. Yes, it was a common constructive way. You're learning. So when somebody says you're overthinking, you're like, no, I'm ready to learn. And you're telling me not to learn when I need to learn in order to get to what they are experiencing. So they're basically calming themselves down with sequencing. We can't. So we have to learn something and then calm down by having learned what we need to learn and go down. Now, again, if we realize that what we've been focusing on is something that's impossible, like there's no way to learn, there's no way to learn how to solve the problem, then that's not what we should be working on. That's very different. That's very different than the advice. So sequencing is, let me give you an example. I'm going to draw it out. So this is a type of learning that is a little bit difficult to represent. And I'm just scratching the surface, so I apologize for this being sloppier than it will be in the future as I get a deeper understanding myself. But so we have problems with a specific region of the brain that I think our society currently doesn't realize can go wrong the way that it does for us, even though there is research that backs everything I am saying. It seems like it hasn't been applied to a model. Okay. So, let me get this thing reset. All right. So here's what's going on. There's two ways to think about numbers. We think about numbers as amount. So if you say to me 5, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. Okay? So I'm thinking about the amount, and I'm also somewhat aware and can get more aware of the shape. So these 5 things are organized like this, right? I could have 5 things that are organized like the shape looks like a triangle of things, one thing over here, and one thing over here. I am good at noticing these relationships. I will have a hard time noticing everything around it. So I notice the relationships, not other information in the environment. That's too much for me. But I can notice these shapes. Here's another example. This one's organized like this. I'm going to draw a line here. I'll get into this in a second. And let's say this one's all the way over here. Okay. So I'm seeing this. This is 5. This is 5. This is 5. Different shape, different shape, different shape, but I see that it's 5, okay? A person without our impairment can also, additionally, they can kind of do this, but I actually don't think it's as well developed. They can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And when they work through this, let's say their goal is 8. 1 is their starting point. They can keep track of where they are, and any changes to the environment are summed into that step. So they see everything in their environment, and when this is how they also are aware of time, and they're like, well, I was here, things have changed, and I've probably done something, and now I'm here. And I want to go here, and I know what changes I want to make, and now I've made those changes. And now I want to make more changes. So everything is in relation to the number just before it. So they're thinking in order. They're thinking linearly, and they're thinking in terms of their position in this line. So if you ask somebody that thinks like this, wait, let me get a eraser. Hold on, I need an eraser because I don't want that part. Oh, and I have one more note about this. So neurochemically, how this works, there's regions of the brain towards the front of the brain that they're going to enter into that I don't think function properly for us, or we can't get there, or something goes wrong when we get there, where it gets more and more and more and more and more active, and they get a big dopamine hit when they get here, right? So their goal is going to be 8, right? If I ask this person, is 3 closer to 4? Or I guess 5, sorry. Is 3 closer to 5 or is 4 closer to 5? So I'm going to ask them about 5. Is 3 closer to 5 or is 4 closer to 5? They're going to answer, very obviously, that 4 is closer to 5. We would say 3 is closer to 5. Because I'm thinking there's 3 here. This is way out there. It'd probably be faster for me to grab that one, and then make 5. So I'm thinking they want the shape of 5. They want 5, they want these relationships to be established and connected. They're thinking, what is supposed to happen next? Yes! This is why you're time blind. Yes! At least if my hypothesis is correct, which I think it is, yes. Now, there are a lot of times when this information is super duper uber important. So what we have to insist is that people let us work on this. Now, one trick to work around this issue, sometimes they're using this process to learn physical skills. So like a physical skill could be something like snapping, right? And for us, we may need to focus on more repetitions because we don't have this working memory. So what we'll have to do is have something cueing us, or we'll have to know that we need to do the action multiple times. We'll basically have to drill ourselves until it moves over from motor neurons into long-term storage of motor skills. So if something they want you to do includes a motor element to it, you're going to repeat that thing 3 to 5 times. And isn't it interesting that autistic people naturally gravitate towards repetition of physical things? Gee whiz. So if there is a physical component to it, and that can include talking, because anything where there's a muscle involved, if there's a motor neuron involved, we got to do some repetitions. We'll keep reinforcing this. Don't even worry about it. Eventually, this is probably going to be like a whole course or a book or something that's free or whatever. I don't know. I think I'm right. So just, yeah. So if it's a physical related skill, you're going to do repetition, rest, 3 to 5 times for your repetition sessions. And then the bottom with the circles, dots looks like prototype for oddball chocolate chip cookies. Phenomenal. I love it. I mean, it would be kind of neat to like do this with chocolate chip cookies. I'm sorry, I was like, how would I make the cookies? Okay, all right. Any questions? Yeah, for me, if you try to turn stop thinking into a practical step, it turns into stop thinking, stop overthinking. Exactly. I was like, what do you want me to do? First of all, when people said stop overthinking, I'm like, that's like telling Usain Bolt to stop running and start walking like he's got a hip injury. Like, why? Why? You can't even do what I'm doing. Why would you tell me to stop? Memorable even. Yeah, the chocolate chip cookies would help. It would give like, wow, how many things have like a tactile element and a gustatory element? Maybe that would help with memory. We all have different sensory processing things going on from the typically developing brain. Maybe we should have cookie lessons. Cookie lessons with Jane. I might do that. Okay. So yeah, any questions on that? And then, yeah, so you're not overthinking. If people tell you to stop overthinking, they're telling you to stop practicing using your brain the only way that's available to you, that I'm not very good at, and that since I'm not so good at it, I think you're doing it as badly as me, and you need to soothe yourself by thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, you don't. They're wrong. I understand why it seems like a good idea to them, and I 100% believe that they think this will alleviate our distress and discomfort, but they're making it worse. And then they try harder because they're making it worse. They're like, you seem to be feeling worse. Maybe you should try my advice even harder. I'm mad at you. And I'm like, I think this is about you now. I don't even think this is about me. I want to leave. I think you'll do this even if I leave the room at this point. Who are you talking to? And that's a weird conversation. Go book! Yes, you're welcome. High five. Meow. All right, so it's 9:40. I've been doing these till 10, and I feel like that's pretty good. Let's see, what else should we do? Let me just check some stuff. I did that. Okay, we did that. Let me check if did I get anything here? That felt fun. You know what? I'm gonna say I've worked on my gift to the world, which is trying to fix some of our autism in terms of models. Fix the models that we're applying to our autism. Alrighty. Cool. Let's see. So we have about 20 minutes. Let's see. What else can I do? I need to drink water. And then let's go look at my spatial calendar, shall we? since my Sims game is still open and up. Ooh, actually, I also need to do... I need to do my Beeble for work, but let me pop up the spatial calendar so people can see it, because there's some new folks. I made a spatial calendar on Sims 4 so I could have a visualization to help me with that episodic thing of like where I'm going, so it would be easier to think about it. At first I thought I was just giving myself spatial information, and then I realized I was helping myself to make that mental movie that I've been talking about. Hurrah. So let's... this is my other game where I made a very cute troll character. Look at her. She's not feeling so good. She got embarrassed. But she's a cutie. Anyways, she's too thick for that chair. That's a little bit disturbing. Oh, well, she's too thick, and also I made her really short, so that's why she's sitting weird. But it doesn't matter. It's worth it. Okay. Drink water, if you haven't. But yes, so my spatial calendar is actually, maybe I should change the name of it now that I'm thinking, because it's not really a spatial calendar. Pardon me. It's actually an episodic memory. Let's change it. Oh, you know what it is? It's a mental time travel calendar. That's what it is. Yeah, I forget too. This one helps because it's like got this weird surface texture that I like. So it's like, oh yeah, I get the good feeling of yeah. Okay. Actually, let me just go into build mode. That's easier. Yeah. And I have to do this. Put gas in DeLorean. Yeah, I probably could get a DeLorean if I really wanted, to be honest. Oopsie. There we go. Dang it, sorry. Logarithmic nature of the brain. That's not what I wanted. Where was I? Oh, crap. How did I end up here? Didn't mean to do that. What did I do? Here I go. Okay, sorry. Alright. I need to do my, something called Beeble. I need to track my hours for work. You have to submit them all the time. It's kind of annoying. But I'm also super broke, so somewhat motivated. Okay, here it is. This is a spatial representation. This is like, it's more like a visual spatial representation of places that I'll be so that I can imagine myself there. Now I'm realizing the purpose of this is so I can imagine myself there. This is all sort of dawning on me. Basically, like, I'll come up with a few tools that I know why I'm coming up with them, and then there's a few where I'm like, I have no idea why this is working, but I'm just going to keep doing it because it's helping. This helped because I had already made replications of my room, my IRL room, and my stream room and stuff. So I know I'm going to the vet with my dog today. I wanted to work on stuff for work, and then I believe there's something going on this evening that I wanted to go to, but I don't know if I'll make it. But there's events going on this evening. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Yeah. Now I can realize that I'm gonna have to go there. And then it's gonna take a little while to get home. I'll probably take the bus. Okay, let me do my hours. I don't know what hours I did. Great. I didn't do this last week. Shoot. I think this was 10 to 12. Okay. So then, yeah, you can look at this, and then the way that it's organized, I have the days of the week, and I have it where, like, I've been using this to signify which day I'm on. You could do this so many different ways. If you wanted to, like, get rid of the days that are over, you could do it that way, which I'm starting to like a little more. I feel like, so you could do it like this. This is optional. You could always just have this peeled back too. It doesn't have to be there. And eventually I'm going to make it so you can make your own. There's not very much you need to do this. I used a couple custom content things, so yeah, to get the basic things you need some custom content. But I can probably give you that in a file, I think. This one was made, and I'll give shout outs by a Simmer on Fiverr that made me these time tiles. And then the lower levels here are where you have, whoopsie, I need that up, your storage of like the days to come. You just have to keep cycling these around. So I know that like Kyle's coming on. This one's got a little wonky, like that's out of order a bit, but it's okay. But yeah, so this is the end of this month. This is the beginning of April. And then Kyle visits here, and that continues here. So you can note things that are coming up in the future as well. So yeah, so this build will be something that's available. This is my thing to remember that I am not a duck. Yeah. I think I do kind of like this version. I did the like maybe focus on one day thing. I think this might work better to keep doing it like this, where these ones I'm not going to worry about. They're in the past, and then going forward. Yeah. I know I want to work on, let me add that. That's weird. Oh, I see what happened. Look at that. It's like crawling across it. That was like, am I hallucinating? No. And then if there's anything you need to do right now to think about your day, this would be a good time to do it while I use this thing. Okay, work meetings. I definitely want to go home and do some of that. So let's assume that'll be around, let me go down a level. Wait, am I down a level? There, okay. Somewhere around here. I'll give myself like, oh yeah, because I gotta be there a minute. Maybe it won't take that long, but it might. I'll just try to start by 12:15. There we go. I usually need to do this just in case I throw my, I usually like do that only because if I don't and I play with this, the characters, I can't use any of the electronics if they get rained on or something horrible happens. Okay, so yeah. And now I kind of know what's going on with my day. I know I need to think about planning a bit today. So I have something for that. Let's see here. If I go calendar, that'll eliminate all the things that are not my little calendar slats. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's I want to take an Uber this direction. I might as well note that. Okay. Oops, that's too high up. My bad. I saw that. I saw that coming, and then I didn't do anything about it. Okay, come here. Okay, something like that. Or, well, I guess I could wait a little bit more. If I'm doing it that way, then it can be here instead. Okay. And then I know I'm going to take Muni home. I might as well just add that so I can think about it. I have to remember the reason I'm adding it is so I can think about it. Public transportation at some point. Let's go ahead and say here. All right, and then I want to do some specific reading and planning, but definitely planning today, which is this one. Cool. I can visualize doing that a little bit. Cool. See? Great. Cool, cool, cool. Now, that looks good to me. I also would like to do some reading today, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to move that over. I'm going to take this off, sell that. I'm running out of money, which means I set this so the household funds reflect how much I'm doing that week. So if I'm doing too much, then I kind of am aware based on how much this thing costs to upkeep all of this. So I am at capacity for the week almost. It's good to know. All right. Though technically, yeah, I did do my shower. Okay. All right, Merlin, you wanna go outside? Okay. All right, let me do my hours, and then that's pretty much it for today. I hope this was enjoyable, and if you like this spatial calendar thing, I would like to make sure that people could get a version of it if they have friends. So I will work on that if that's of interest to folks. And now let me just do, what the heck are my hours? I guess I'm... okay. I don't know if I even did that. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Happy to do it. I'm gonna be here for just like 5. I'm gonna stop right at 10 because I just want to finish doing this. And if I don't stay here while I work on this thing, I'm gonna be in dookie. Okay. Wednesday, was there a training? No. Thursday, I did 2. Actually 1:32, 7. And then this was you know what? I'm not even gonna worry about that. That's wrong, but I don't even care. 9. It's like my discretionary hours. I'm not even gonna worry about it. Okay, that's fine. I'll do that later, hopefully. And then this is 2 to 7. 2 to 7. I did that. Did I do this? 12. Wait, 12:30. Okay. All right, I've done everything. If you can come on Sunday, please come on Sunday. It's 12 to 3 for Housekeepathon. It's a space management stream where it's kind of like podcasty style, which is, I think, cool and fun. 12:30 to 2, not 3. Yeah, it's 12. Sunday is 12 to 3. I was filling out something that said I needed to do for my work that was 12:30 to 2, and I confused myself. I will not confuse you if I can help it. And then, yeah. Yep. Buh. Cool. All right, everybody. 3 more minutes. Yeah, if you can come on Sunday, please come on Sunday. We'll work on space management. It's really fun. You can meet more people who are like peer support homies from the channel, which I also think is super fun and cool. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, goodbye.